What's up, everybody? Thanks again for tuning in to Sneaker Nation TV. I'm your host, CP. And today we're on location in Miami, Florida with 89 Clothing and the owner of 89 Clothing, Ray Guilbault. How you doing, man?
Everything's good, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Give us a history of 89 Clothing.
Wow, we've been at it for a long time. So we started actually here in South Florida. We started in 2001. I'll date myself. I was going to college, University of Miami at the time, and I had just moved from New York. And basically, out of the blue, one day I was customizing some clothes for our store that we had, and I came across, a series of patches that had, the numbers 8 and 9, and I kind of popped into my head that we could do a clothing line, and the name stuck, and here we are.
Now, when I was looking on your website, I actually did a little bit of research, and it says that the number 8 means infinity, and the number 9 means the number of completion.
It does, and it's a name that we wanted because it had no limitations in terms of who we could appeal to. So the fan base for us is really based on the marketing and the lifestyle that we live, where anybody could gravitate towards the brand if they appreciate the design aesthetic. It's a little bit different than some of the other brands that have a name that pigeonholes them or gives everything away from the beginning. So yes, 8 is infinite, 9 symbolizes completion. It's also a perfect number. So depending on the culture and what your beliefs are, then you'll take a different meaning from 8 and 9. And that's something that was important to us.
Normally, whenever it is you think about clothing lines, you think about the state of California or the city of LA, or you think about New York. Now, you're starting a clothing line and have been having much success with it in the state of Florida. How is that different from actually doing clothing in one of the other quote-unquote major markets?
I think it's big that you said the other major markets, because New York and LA are obviously the biggest markets. LA, almost every important streetwear brand has come out of LA. There's a couple to speak of out of New York. Urban was obviously heavy in New York. So for us being in South Florida, it's a gift and a curse. We don't have necessarily an industry to piggyback off of. We don't have a Fairfax. We don't have the production resources that LA has. We don't even have the production resources of New York. So it's basically everything that we make it. Nobody has it easy, but we don't have a path that we can take or anybody before us that we can follow. So on the flip side of that, it's a little bit easier for us to garner attention, so to speak. We're able to make noise in our market because there isn't a lot of competition. There are other brands out here that are making a name for themselves, but it's a little bit of a gift and a curse. Like I said, we don't have the mainstream industry, but then at the same time, when we do what we do, we're able to shine on our own.
Now, also when you're looking at a lot of the designs you guys do, I saw that, or as anybody who shops around your website, you see that you have inspirations from the NHL. You use stuff from that. You also use stuff from the University of Miami. I've seen the Incubus, on some of your designs, things like that. How do you go about pulling your inspirational ideas in order to be able to put on your actual shirts or your streetwear?
For us, inspiration kind of comes from everything. That's another great thing about being in South Florida. We have so many different aspects of the lifestyle. We have the beach life. We have an amazing art culture that's coming out of Wynwood. We obviously have the stand on couches, pour champagne on women culture. So it's a little bit of everything. And then on the flip side of all that, we have the real Miami, which is just a very gritty, raw street environment. So we're able to pull inspiration from everything that's around us. We have a diverse team, and like I said, we just draw from everything that we live on a daily basis, and we have a city that is able to inspire us in a lot of different ways based on the different lifestyles. I grew up playing hockey, so the NHL inspirations were very timely, and it was easy for us to kind of make that a big part of our line this year. The jersey style was trending, so we just went all the way hard with the hockey jersey stuff, and the fans could see the authenticity in that because of my background and our design background, so it's worked out very well for us.
When it comes to your website, I know there's a lot of people who have traveled, or I should say ventured onto your website and looked at certain things. When you go on there, it's very interactive. You have a lot of videos that's on there, and you have other things that, for somebody who's surfing on your site, it's very user-friendly. How do you feel that type of interaction is or corresponds with your fan base?
I think everything now with your fans is about interaction. You want to engage them as much as possible, just providing unique content. With regard to the videos, pretty much everything that's in our video page is going to be either original content or something from somebody that we've worked with, whether it's one of the rappers or one of the artists, or maybe a freehand prophet. It's always going to be something that features the product and represents the lifestyle that we live. Putting videos on your own website versus social media, you always have to be aware of that balance. A lot of people like to just live in their own social media bubble. Like they want to be on Instagram to be on Instagram. People don't want to leave Facebook. So you have to serve that content into all the social networks in a way that people are willing to receive it. But then also you want to have a reason for them to come to your site, because ultimately that's where they spend the money. So if you want to, engage people while they're shopping, that can be a little bit of a distraction sometimes. So we try to make sure that the product's really easy to find, and then for the, the loyal fans that really want to dig around and engage like in the whole 8 and 9 lifestyle, do we have enough there to keep them interested?
Now, you did just mention Freehand Profit. You have done several collaborations with him. He's done some masks and stuff like that you guys have up on your wall inside your showroom. And you also done other collaborations like with the Locks, of course, Styles P, Jadakiss, and the other members that's a part of them. How do you guys go about choosing the people that you want to do collaborations with, or do you just kind of randomly try to get in contact with several people and see who's down to do things with your product?
For us, we've been really lucky because everything has come from like an organic relationship. With Freehand, it actually started because we've worked with SneakerCon from the very beginning. So I think we've actually done every single SneakerCon show in the history of SneakerCon. We were at the first one in New York City, and Gary, Freehand Profit, ended up actually purchasing one of our shirts, one of our originals, Real Heads Rock Their Kicks, at SneakerCon, I believe in San Fran or LA. And I saw him wearing it and I was just like, holy shit, this dude's a savage, and his work was just incredible. So I was able to, reach out to him, which was super easy. He was already a fan of what we were doing. We were a fan of what he was doing. And then that was where we started working together, was from when he did the Black Cement 3 mask. He wore the Real Head shirt in that photo shoot. So just something very natural. Like he saw the shirt, he liked it. I saw him wearing it, I liked his work, and I was able to reach out, and we were able to just build, and it turned out to be, not only a great friendship, but a very fruitful partnership, so to speak. So most of our relationships have been like that. It kind of just has a common starting point where you can build, exchange ideas, and then you go through a creative process together, and then you end up with something that you can create and sell. And hopefully when you sell it, it's profitable.
Now, is there a certain process that you guys have on how you actually go about these collaborations, or is it just based on the organic relationship that you have?
Yeah, it's really, for us, it's been all about just the organic relationship and, working with like-minded people. And it can start from something small, but you still have to go through the process together for it to be a collaboration. And then ultimately you come to some type of joint idea, which then you can put a joint marketing effort behind it and then sell the product.
How many masks so far has Freehand Profit done for 8-9 Clothing?
We brought Freehand out here for Art Basel, I believe 2013 or 2012, one of those years. We brought Freehand to Miami. We did a pop-up shop together, and he was there, cutting the sneakers live, and that was kind of where we started doing the events together. He came out and people were able to actually see the mask get chopped, and we had 3 or 4 on display at that show. And then following that, we brought a couple of the masks back to our showroom where we had them on display, and then collectors were able to come through. Being that it's Miami, a little bit of his fans, a little bit of ours. And we sold a couple, then we commissioned a couple more, sold those, and now we have 3 on display. So we're at least a half a dozen deep, I would say.
As a collective staff, do you guys have a certain top 3 sneakers that you feel is like your all-time favorites?
Yeah, I mean, Figs, my right-hand guy in New York, he's been with me since the beginning. He probably has 6 pair of Black Cement 3s right now. I'm sure he has at least a couple of the, 2001s or whatever, and he probably has a couple of every release up until now. He's got all of them. And he's got at least 6 pair of Black Cement 3s. So I would say for our staff, it's probably Black Cement 3s, infrared 6s, black infrared 6s, and it's a tough one. It's a tie, I think, at that point between the metallic 5s and then the Bred 11s. Okay. But I would definitely say Black Cement 3s, infrared black 6s, and then you get a little tie runners up for the Bred 11s or the metallic 5s.